Watch this. One sentence describing a bug, I close my laptop, and by the time I open it again, there is a finished pull request sitting there, the bug fixed, tests already run, ready for me to just review and merge. I did not touch a single file myself. This is Codex, OpenAI's coding agent, and most people who have it still use it like a slightly smarter autocomplete, typing small requests one at a time and watching every keystroke. That is not what it was built for, and today I'm showing you how to actually use it the way it was designed to be used. Before we go further, tap like on this video and drop a comment telling me whether you have tried Codex yet or you are just getting started. It helps this video reach more people who are still stuck babysitting every request instead of actually delegating. Here's why this actually works differently from just chatting with an AI about code. A normal conversation gives you a suggestion and stops there. You copy it, paste it, test it yourself, and fix whatever breaks. Codex instead clones your actual project into its own separate sandboxed environment, reads through the whole code base for context, writes changes across as many files as the task needs, runs your tests itself, and keeps iterating on its own if something fails, before finally opening something you can review, not something you have to assemble yourself. That is the real shift. You're handing over a finished task instead of a fragment you still have to stitch together. I only share methods that I test myself, so let's actually set this up and run through it together. Codex is not one single app. It lives across several places, and picking the right one for the moment matters. There is the web version inside ChatGPT for describing a task and letting it run in the cloud without touching your own computer. There is a command line tool for working directly inside a project folder on your machine. There's also an extension for popular code editors if you want it sitting right next to the file you're already looking at. All of them share the same account and the same underlying agent, so you're not learning 3 different tools, you're just choosing the door that fits the task in front of you. Let's walk through setting up the cloud version, since it's the easiest starting point. Sign into Codex with your regular account, connect your GitHub account when it asks, and choose which specific repositories it's allowed to touch. Do not hand it access to your entire account by default, only the project you're actually working on. Create an environment for that repository, which is really just telling it what tools, dependencies, and settings that project needs to run correctly. And once that's set up, you're ready for your first real task. Here's the single most important habit before you send that first task, and skipping it is the biggest reason people get inconsistent results. Create a file called agents.md at the root of your project, and inside it describe your actual conventions, which command runs your tests, which style rules matter, what it should never touch without asking first. Without that file, Codex has to guess your conventions by reading your code and hoping it inferred correctly. With that file, it follows your actual standards from the very first task instead of the 5th one. Most tools even have a shortcut command that scans your project and drafts this file for you automatically, so there's genuinely no excuse to skip this step. Now, here's a real example of what a well-written task actually looks like. Say a specific page in your app has been throwing an error for certain users, and you don't know exactly why yet. Instead of typing, "fix the bug," which leaves too much for it to guess, describe the actual symptom, which page, what the user sees, any error message you have, and ask it to find the root cause and fix it, then explain what was actually wrong. It reads through the relevant files, reproduces the issue inside its sandbox, tracks down the real cause, fixes it, runs the existing tests to confirm nothing else broke, and hands you back a pull request with a clear explanation of what went wrong and why the fix works. Here is a second example that shows the real power of this tool, working in parallel. Say you have 3 separate small improvements you have been meaning to make. Nothing urgent, just backlog items sitting there. Instead of doing them one at a time over 3 different days, describe all 3 as separate tasks and start them together. Since each one runs in its own isolated environment, they do not interfere with each other, and you can walk away and check back once, reviewing 3 finished results instead of babysitting 3 separate sessions. Here's the mistake that causes almost every bad experience people report with this tool, so pay attention here. People review the finished pull request the way they would skim a text message, glance at it and hit merge, especially once they start trusting the tool after a few good results. Treat every single pull request the way you would treat one from a new team member you haven't built years of trust with yet. Actually read the diff. Actually understand what changed and why. Because the moment you stop reviewing is exactly the moment a subtle mistake slips through into your real project. Here's the golden tip, and this is what actually separates someone who gets frustrated with inconsistent results from someone who gets consistently excellent ones. Treat your agents.file as a living document, not something you write once and forget. Every time Codex makes a choice you didn't like, whether that's a testing pattern, a naming convention, or a shortcut it took that you didn't want, add a line to that file addressing it directly. Try this specific approach. After your next few tasks, spend 2 minutes updating that file with anything that surprised you, and you'll notice the very next task already respects that correction. Because you're not fighting the same mistake over and over, you're actually training the tool to match how you specifically work. I test new AI deals every week. If a new free method comes out, you'll see it here first. One more thing worth knowing before you dive in. Tasks run inside a sandboxed environment with no open internet access by default, which is a deliberate safety choice that prevents it from reaching out to anywhere it shouldn't while it works, and any request to enable broader access should be something you configure intentionally, not something you grant just because a task seemed to need it. If this changed how you think about handing off real work instead of watching every single keystroke, subscribe now, because next video, I'm running the exact same messy project through this tool from a completely empty agents file to a fully trained one, so you can see side by side exactly how much that one habit actually changes the output.